It all starts here. Cute and cuddly, the Greyhound plays like any other puppy. But that's where the similarities end. Because these dogs are born to run. The racing Greyhound, solid, sleek, power and motion. Finely tuned from birth, these athletes are raised on the right foods and rigorous training. The first step, sprint runs to develop muscle tone. Step 2, preparation for racing days with more sports-specific exercises. Then it's on to the training track, where these muscle-bound sprinters drive the turns before the real racing begins. On the Greyhound tracks of the world, where the dreams of owners, trainers, and breeders are played out by pure poetry and motion. Fine athletes, but only few discover true success, and only one is crowned champion of Greyhound racing. Live from Mile High Kennel Club in Denver, Colorado, the American Greyhound Track Operators Association and Perfectavision proudly presents the 1989 Greyhound Race of Champions.
Good afternoon, everyone. You're looking at the Rocky Mountains of Colorado, just a short drive from Mile High Kennel Club, where it's a beautiful day for Greyhound racing. I'm Susie Colbert.
And I'm Jim Gallagher. Susie and I are here to present the most exciting half hour in Greyhound racing.
Just to give you an idea of how big this race really is, consider what the World Series is to baseball, or what the Super Bowl is to football. That's what this race means to the dog lover. Simply stated, the Greyhound Race of Champions is the sport's premier event. Since 1982, the Race of Champions has seen the nation's top greyhounds compete on the local level before moving on to one track that is honored with the distinction of hosting the event. This year's starting field of 48 have raced through the rigors of elimination, leaving only 8 greyhounds to battle it out for the $125,000 total purse. $62,500 and the distinction of being the best greyhound in the country goes to the winner. A second place finish is worth $25,000. Third will take home $12,500. $8,000 goes to the fourth place finisher, and the rest of the field will pocket prize money of $4,500 apiece just for making the final field. That in itself is comparable to winning some stakes races in other parts of the country. It's no surprise that the sport's top athletes have won this event. In 1986, the world's richest greyhound purse was up for grabs when the Race of Champions was held at SEABROOK Park in New Hampshire. Number 4, BENG Speedboat scored a 1.5-length victory over the 5/16 course, taking his share of the $250,000 total purse. RAYNHAM, Massachusetts was the site for the 1987 Greyhound Race of Champions. This time, the race was held over 3/8 of a mile as number 1 ET's Pesky took the early lead and went on to a 3-length victory. The 1988 race saw number 2 BB's Old Yellow score an easy 2-length win. The fans at Southland Park in West Memphis, Arkansas saw their hometown hero rise to the top of the Greyhound world. And today, one more name will be added to the history books as the Race of Champions makes its stop right here at Mile High Kennel Club in Denver, Colorado. So Jim, that leads us to our next point. Why have the race here at Mile High?
Well, Susie, it's a perfect setting, and Colorado has always been a hot spot for Greyhound racing. Mile High Kennel Club, of course, has had its share of traditions, champions, and scrapbooks.
Mile High Kennel Club opened on July 22, 1949, with a crowd estimated at 20,000 in attendance. They wagered $222,849 for that first card. The opening signaled the beginning of pari-mutuels in the Rockies and provided a new dimension for local sports fans.
It was a very exciting period for Denver. It was a success from the start. It was as if they had been waiting for something, and pari-mutuel wagering became a very important part of the summer in Denver.
Since then, Mile High has developed into one of the finest racing plants in the nation, with a skilled, efficient management and outstanding competition. Greyhounds like the fabled Beachcomber, Westy Whizzer, Hunza, and JW Rocket One have thrilled the fans and built legends. Besides the regular racing, Mile High has also had some innovative competition with hurdle races. Fans have included movie stars, famous athletes, politicians, and local notables.
Society columns were out here once or twice a week, and and it was a place to come.
Mile High has been the scene of many top stakes races, and today is hosting the most prestigious event in this sport.
It's been a part of Denver's sports calendar, an integral part for 40 years now. That's hard to imagine. It's been 40 years.
And Susie, those 40 years have a special meaning to me because my dad was one of the original kennels out here, and one of the things that we were always impressed with was the friendliness of the people. Another was the fact that they had a great enthusiasm for greyhound racing.
So these 2 weeks here must have been like a reunion for you.
It's been old home week, and I've loved it.
And with you hosting the show now, it looks like the Gallagher tradition at Mile High goes on. And when we go on, we'll show you how greyhound tracks across the country are reaching out to the dog lover in all of us.
Coming up soon, the Hound Dog Derby. Stay with us.
This is a machine designed to make travel easier.
American Airlines,
No
can I help
problem.
you?
I can check on that for you,
No
sir.
trouble at all.
Right on time.
And these are its most important parts.
No problem at all, sir. Just one. No hay problema.
Don't worry, we'll get it there.
You're all set.
The men and women of American
I can
Airlines,
change that for you.
No trouble
You
at
have a
all.
good flight.
committed to making your trip something special.
No problem at all.
No problem.
Glad we could help.
Here for Latomania! Here we go! Introducing the challenger, the mask, Marauder! And the champ, Jesse, the Body Ventura! Okay, boys, you know the rules. No noogies. Any of this? Oh! Now, Latomania, brought to you by America's favorite light beer, Miller Lite. Oh! Who's gonna win, the masked Marauder? Les Philly or Jesse? Tastes great.
An innocent man sentenced to death for a murder he didn't commit. This may sound like a movie, but for Randall Dale Adams, this was a frightening reality. On Entertainment Tonight, we've got the inside story of one man's real-life struggle to escape his date with his own execution.
They've robbed me of 12 years of my life.
See how a provocative and compelling film uncovered startling new evidence and freed this wrongly accused man. The inside stories on the next Entertainment Tonight.
Be sure to watch Entertainment Tonight, 6:30 Monday on Channel 7.
Like any big event, there's lots of hype surrounding this race, but as we know, when the box opens, it all comes down to the athletes.
And now it's time to meet the real stars of the show, the final field of 8 in the Greyhound Race of Champions. Breaking from the rail is OSHKOSH KILTER. She's the first of 3 Thunderbird kennel stars to make the championship field. OSHKOSH KILTER is the only finalist who was not nominated by a racetrack. Instead, her owners thought so highly of her, they paid a hefty supplemental entry fee for her to compete in the qualifiers. This middle-distance star recently competed at Derby Lane in St. Petersburg, Florida, where she scored 13 in the money efforts in 25 starts. OSHKOSH KILTER posted a win, a second, and a fourth through the prelims.
Well, Kilter, she's got a good box, but she's got to get out early and steal a lead. Get 6 lengths ahead, maybe. In this race, there's a lot of closers and stronger dogs. She's got to get out early and have a little luck.
Wearing the blue blanket of Post 2, ALLEGIS. This star from the Castellani Kennel is no stranger to stakes race competition. He began his career by winning the Southland Juvenile, then the Southland Derby in West Memphis, Arkansas. However, ALLEGIS represents Derby Lane, where he recently competed in the St. Petersburg Derby and ended the St. Pete meet as the track champion.
Well, basically, he's a speed dog, but he's a good speed dog, the type that when he gets to the front, very seldom will get caught. You know, he won 14 Grade A races at St. Petersburg, and every one he got in front.
In Post 3, KIOWA Matilda. This 3-year-old is best known for her early speed, but as you can see, she can also come from off the pace to win. KIOWA Matilda is a very consistent racer, having scored 14 in-the-money efforts at her home track in RAYNHAM, Massachusetts. Here at Mile High, she scored a first, second, and third place finish to make the Race of Champions final field.
Well, there's going to be a lot of early speed, a lot of traffic in the first turn, but if she can just break out fast enough to go to the early lead, then she should get a portion of it.
The morning line favorite is number 4, OSHKOSH Juliet. She's the second Thunderbird kennel star to make the final field. Some experts are calling this superstar the best greyhound in the country. Juliet has won 37 times in 50 lifetime starts and has finished out of the money only once in her career. This winter, she won the St. Petersburg Distance Classic by 8 lengths and is the only finalist to win all 3 of the prelims. OSHKOSH Juliet represents Tampa Greyhound Park in Florida.
If she doesn't go to the front, she'll probably have a work cut out for her, but if she goes to the front, I think on a matinee track and afternoon track, I think she'll be more than up to the task.
South Florida racing fans will be rooting for number 5 Imperial Court. This entry from Naples-Fort Myers Kennel Club has taken a quick liking to the Mile High Strip. Shown here, coming from way back to score a second-round win, this star from the Bob Freis Kennel ended the Naples meet with 21 of 24 in-the-money efforts.
If he should run his best race, I'd probably, it looks like trying to beat OSHKOSH Juliet's looks almost impossible, but she should happen to get in trouble. My dog should get a little bit lucky and run his best race. You know, as long as you're in there, you always have a chance.
Breaking from the number 6 box is PJ's Uno. Colorado racing fans are quite familiar with the talents of this finalist. In recent months, PJ's Uno has won both the Interstate and Cloverleaf Derbies. At one point during the Cloverleaf meet, this star from the Plum Creek Morning Kennel held the 3/8 of a mile track record. PJ's Uno had 2 wins and a 4th place effort through the prelims and represents Interstate Greyhound Park here in Colorado.
He's usually late speed, usually gets out 5th or 6th and comes from behind, but I think in this race it's going to take, you got to get out a lot better than that.
Wearing the green and white stripes of post 7 is my main man, Jack. This outside runner recently ran 3rd in the St. Pete Derby, and as you can see, loves to come from way off the pace. Representing Derby Lane in St. Petersburg and racing for the Marriott Kennel, look for my main man, Jack, to pour it on down the backstretch.
I believe it'll just take for him to get where he wants to be, which is outside, and he'll run his best outside.
Rounding out the field in post 8 is OSHKOSH RACEY. Last year, this superstar set the track record over the same course he'll be running today. He also won the Mile High Invitational and went on to be named captain of the 1988 All-American team. OSHKOSH RACEY represents Tampa Greyhound Park and secured a spot in the final with this 6-length victory. RACEY has won major stakes events over the 5/16 and 3/8 distances and is the 3rd Thunderbird Kennel entry to make the championship field.
He's just always been there for me. I broke him in. He's been hurt and come back. He's won a lot of stakes for me. Just kind of one of those special bonds. He's very special.
Well, there you have the 8 survivors as they started out with 48. It's anybody's race, Susie, but as you know, this sport doesn't always have to be that serious.
That's right, and tracks around the country have found a way to appeal to the dog lover in all of us.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Cry all the time. Well, you ain't never caught a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine.
They came in every size, shape, and color. Some more enthusiastic than others, but all for a good cause. the Biscayne Kennel Club's Hound Dog Derby to benefit the big brothers and big sisters of Miami.
Usually at a dog race, the dogs come and they race. Now, who needs to see that, you know? But here, the dogs may do many, many different things, but one of them is probably not going to be race.
I figure she runs out the front door real quick. At home, she's got a good shot at this. She folded up. She's tired. Had a big day.
Other dogs, like Murphy here, were better prepared to handle the spotlight. Still, when the pressure was on, it wasn't always the coolest dog who crossed the finish line first. Did you think he was going to win? Other owners who weren't quite as confident turned to some reliable favorites. What's the secret?
The tennis ball. It works all the time. Last year we tried a softball, came in third. This year, first. We'll use the tennis ball next year again.
Just play Frisbee. She loves to play Frisbee a lot. People bring their Frisbees, they bring them a milk bowl. I tried cheese, but it didn't work, so he loves cheese, though. But no, really, you know, Mutt's worked the best. He's a pedigree, and, you know, they're high-strung, and he's tired. He's been here all morning.
Clement's pedigree pooch was just one of many canines doing their part for the North Miami JCs, who sponsored the day's events along with Pedigree brand dog food.
We saw this as an opportunity to promote responsible pet ownership and an opportunity to showcase some special kinds of dogs and also do a great service to the community.
So you could say there were no losers at Biscayne on this day, although some proud papas, like Miami Dolphins All-Pro John Offerdahl, were willing to try anything for that blue ribbon.
If we get together and cheer my dog on, he'll win! Yes! Let's go!
But in the featured race of Miami Dolphin dogs, it was lineman Mark Dennis who owned the win and place as Offerdahl's dog, Tackle, got squeezed out at the finish line. But just when you thought you'd seen everything, some other dog owners really outdid themselves upstairs. You may call it eccentric. Biscayne calls it the annual fundraiser for the Animal Welfare Society.
Well, Biscayne has always been affiliated with community events in one way or another. We've been located here for 60 years, and we felt that it's extremely important to be involved in the community in which we live and work.
You also can't ignore the long-term benefits an event like this has on greyhound racing well beyond the limits of the Biscayne community.
Everybody loves their pet, and if we could get them to love greyhounds the way they love their own pet, we'd have some real, true racing fans.
And this year, Mile High Kennel Club held their first ever Hound Dog Derby, and it was a huge success.
Stay tuned, because when we come back, we'll bring you the most exciting 40 seconds in sports, the 8th running of the Greyhound Race of Champions.
Rich McMahon and John Madden here for Latomania. Here we go! Introducing the challenger, the masked Marauder! And the champ, Jesse, the Body Ventura!
Okay, boys, you know the rules. No noogies.
Any of this? Oh. Now, Latomania, brought to you by America's favorite light beer, Miller Lite.
Oh, who's gonna win? The Masked Marauder?
Les, Philly, or Jesse? Tastes great.
Summer's in the air, well, dog's days are here. Summer's in the air, well, dog's days are here.
Summertime at Mile High Kennel Club, where you'll see the fastest greyhounds in the world and where admission is only $1. The dog days of summer are here. Come on out and play.
Summer's in the air, well, dog's days are here, yeah.
On the next People's Court,
she was my son's girlfriend at the time. I was with him for 7 years. I have 2 of his children.
will the plaintiff collect for the car?
I did not give her that Datsun.
Or was it indeed a gift?
She had just won the lottery and was worth a lot of money.
It's the case of win the lottery, lose a Datsun.
Did you win some money in the lottery?
Oh, yes, sir.
How much did you win?
$673,000.
On the next People's Court.
Don't be late for the People's Courts, 3:30 Monday on Channel 7.
For most of us, a day at the ballpark is a day off from work. For Ray and Becky Krozik, it's a day at work. Ray is a pitcher for the Denver Zephyrs. His wife Becky is his #1 fan. I'm John Keating of 7 Sports. Join me as we look at what it takes to balance the budget and balance the emotional highs and lows for a minor league couple with major league dreams. Married in the Minors starting Tuesday on 7 News at 6.
Well, this is it. We're just moments away from post time.
And this race is being watched at tracks across the country. Now, here at Mile High Kennel Club in Denver, Colorado, where it's being run, the number 4 dog, and that is the OSHKOSH JULIET Greyhound, has been installed as the favorite, and she will be going off at 4 to 5. The second favorite on the board, as we have it right now, is OSHKOSH RACEY, who will be going off at 3 to 1, and the long shot on the board is Imperial Court. Imperial Court will be going off at 28 to 1. The local fans, of course, like PJ's Uno, because this is a greyhound that is raced here in the Colorado area, and he is going off at 7 to 1. Now let's go upstairs to Jerry Weselka in just a few minutes.
Greyhounds being put in the starting box right now. And after watching the eliminations, I have to like number 4, OSHKOSH JULIET. Her 15th length victory in the last round has made me a believer.
Well, the fans have liked Juliet too, and of course with her sheer talent, she'll be tough to keep off the board. But if you're looking for kind of an upset, watch number 2, ALLEGIS. She has to be considered, or rather he has to be considered. If he breaks sharply, this dog from the Castellani kennel will be tough to run down. Now upstairs to Jerry Weselka for the call.
Thanks very much, Susie and Jim. The Greyhounds are now in the starting box, and Rusty is on his way for the 1989 Greyhound Race of Champions. Here comes Rusty. They're off. Number 4, OSHKOSH JULIET goes to the early lead along the rail. Number 2, ALLEGIS there to challenge. Then number 1, OSHKOSH KILTER, followed by 3, KIOWA MATILDA. By the grandstand, as expected, it's 4, OSHKOSH JULIET, your leader by 3. Number 2, ALLEGIS, the closest challenger. Then it's 1, OSHKOSH KILTER in third with a move, followed by 3, KIOWA MATILDA. 8, 6, 7, and 5 into the final turn. OSHKOSH JULIET still in front, now lengthens out by 5. Number 2, ALLEGIS on the chase in second as they come to the wire. OSHKOSH JULIET, the Race of Champions winner. Now we take you back to...
Well, I'd have to say that was no surprise. I guess I picked it, everybody else here picked it, and you picked it too.
That also means that the female domination continues, because this race has been run 8 times, and 6 times a lady racer has won it. Let's take a look now at the replay. As you see at the break, here is where Juliet does the job. She just jumps out to the front on that short run to the turn. Now she's getting competition on the inside from ALLEGIS, and here is ALLEGIS trying on the inside, but Juliet moves a little closer to the rail and begins to pull away from the field. ALLEGIS not giving up. Kind of a surprise as OSHKOSH KILTER, who was a supplemental entry, has moved into third position. Beautiful stride down the home straightaway, as you see by the eventual winner, OSHKOSH JULIET from the Thunderbird kennel from Oshkosh, Nebraska, and the number 2 dog is ALLEGIS. That's the Castellani kennel, and they're from Derby Lane in Florida. And the number 1 dog is another OSHKOSH racer. Now as they come into the back stretch and hit the odds board again, once again it is Juliet, and Juliet is just out front, high, wide, and good looking, and she is going to come home and win $62,500 for the Pollard family in the OSHKOSH kennel. Beautifully timed machine, as she just, as you see in the slow motion, has no waste in her racing, and she comes into that home straightaway, and she is going to head home for the victory. ALLEGIS never giving up, stays on the rail, trying to come from behind, but just not quite enough speed for the big dog to do it at the end. And as we said, a little bit of a surprise when OSHKOSH KILTER comes in third, but certainly a great victory.
And when we come back, I'll have the official results of today's race.
And I'll be in the winner's circle with some very happy people.
This is a machine designed to make travel easier.
American Airlines.
No problem. I can check on that for you, sir.
trouble at all.
Right on time.
And these are its most important parts.
No problem at all, sir. No problem.
Don't worry, we'll get it there.
You're all set.
The men and women of American
I can
Airlines,
change that for you. No trouble.
You have a good flight.
committed to making your trip something special.
No problem at all. No problem. Glad we could help.
Next time on Cheers, there's good news and bad news.
Okay, who's the wise guy who shoved the IOU in the tip glass?
Now the good news is somebody left our gang $100 grand.
Minus my accounting fee, that's $100. We each get $100? No, you split $100.
And now for the bad news.
This paper is worthless.
So who asked this guy anyway?
Yeah, let's strip him and boot him out in the snow.
Next time on Cheers.
Watch Cheers tonight at 10:35, right after 7 News.
An innocent man sentenced to death for a murder he didn't commit. This may sound like a movie, but for Randall Dale Adams, this was a frightening reality. On Entertainment Tonight, we've got the inside story of one man's real-life struggle to escape his date with his own execution.
They've robbed me 12 years of my life.
See how a provocative and compelling film uncovered startling new evidence and freed this wrongly accused man. The inside stories on the next Entertainment Tonight.
Be sure to watch Entertainment Tonight, 6:30 Monday on Channel 7.
Welcome back to our coverage of the 1989 Greyhound Race of Champions, and the results are official, and let's take a look at the board, where we'll see that number 4 OSHKOSH JULIET paid $360 to win, number 2 ALLEGIS ran second, with number 1 OSHKOSH KILTER racing third. The time of the race was 38:96. And let's go to Jim now, who is in the winner's circle with some very happy people. Jim?
Well, they certainly are. We're with Terry Green, and he is the trainer of OSHKOSH JULIET. It's owned by the Thunderbird Kennel from Nebraska. Bill Pollard is the owner. We talked earlier in the week. You had 3 entries, and you finished first and third. You were kind of pulling for OSHKOSH RACEY, I think.
Yes, I was.
What about this Greyhound, though? She's been super for your kennel.
Oh, yeah. You can't take anything away from Juliet.
You knew it was all over but the shouting when she broke, or were you worried about ALLEGIS?
I was worried about ALLEGIS. When they crossed the finish lines, when I felt safe.
You must have had a lot of confidence, too, in KILTER to put her in as a supplemental entry.
Yeah, she was a last-minute thing, but she really held her own.
Well, congratulations to you and the Pollard family.
Thank you.
Now, Susie, that's it from the winner's circle. Back to you.
Thanks, Jim, and thank you for watching our coverage of the 1989 Greyhound Race of Champions. For all of us here at Mile High, I'm Susie Culver. Take care, and we'll see you out at the track.